Manny, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Comatose, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Woodhouse, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? How you been? How's it going? It's going great. How's it going for you? Free and forever, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening. Come on, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? Evening. Brother, illness. You're a bit ill. Tor, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How are you? I'm doing great. Billo, let's go. I caught the show today, Miles. Let's go. Free XLP. How you doing? How you been, Free XLP? XRP USD, XRP price up, down, or sideways. For the time being, it's a little bit down sideways. But the speculation of the meeting is still there. Anna, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? SEC ex-lawyer said case end in weeks. Yes. So yesterday I revealed on this live show that a ex-SEC lawyer came forward and stated that essentially the talks of settlements are not in progress, but a final judgment is in progress, according to an ex-SEC lawyer. And in his words, this case is about to come to an end in essentially a matter of weeks, which perfectly lines up with what Brad essentially said as well. It's going to happen sooner than you think. Is there any big XRP news like yesterday? Big XRP news, not on that scale of a matter of weeks, but we still do have quite a lot of news to go through on how the market's going to be playing out. Going good. What you recommend before I can see that it can work already? Thanks once again, Miles. No problem, Woodhouse. Anytime. That was a good idea. Let's go, Woodhouse. I can't catch every show, but I do watch the recordings every day. Free XRP, thank you so much for watching the recordings every day. Thanks so much for tuning in when you can. Thanks so much to everyone that watches essentially the recordings, the re-recordings. And genuinely, thank you. Miles, at the start of the meetings, can you state the date so it's obvious what live date is? I can. At the beginning of the lives, I can state the date, but also the episodes should tell you because they're time-stamped. But this is episode 106, and the date is the 23rd, 07/2024. Miles, do you believe we only have a good utility run when the cyber attack blocks and Black Swan event happens? Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? I missed a couple of questions. Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? I heard Kamala is more likely to win. There's possibly zero chance of Kamala Harris winning, unless the election is rigged. That's the only way she's going to win. It's impossible for her to win, which also will be the downfall of the United States. I mean, Biden already messed up not just the US economy, but the entire world's economy. If Kamala Harris comes in, it's just game over for the entire world, pretty much. Not just for the US market. So highly unlikely she'll win unless it's completely rigged and she is chosen to win. Miles, do you believe we only have a utility run when the cyber attacks and Black Swan events happen? No, we can have a utility run even before that matter happens. Did you see all the videos and documents I send in CMF about cyber stalking? I didn't get a chance, but I'll check it after this live show. Cyber attacks, not stalking. No, I didn't get a chance. I'll check it after the live show. What up, Miles and family? Hope all is well, though. Ray, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Many saying that cyber attacks around election time, Black Swan events, opinions, possibility quite high. During election times, a lot of things will be happening. Some are distractions and some are just accidentals, but mostly coordinated, anything that does happen. Black Swan events can happen at those times and, during election times and so on. So it's an outcome, but it's not the outcome. Hey, Miles and family, it's been a little while. Michael, good to see you as well. How you been? It's definitely been a little while. How you been? Will there? Possibility. Keep it as an outcome. There's a very small chance of Camilla winning. In 2024, hood regulations for XRP to pump. Could regulations be there in 2024 for XRP to pump? Yes, there are some regulations in place that can actually help XRP propel after the lawsuit. There are some regulations in place, yes. Not all regulations, but some regulations are still there to help it propel to a new price point, definitely. Now, Do you also believe in that black swan around election time? Can you tell some more about it, and what is that effect on the XRP and the market? Yes, I can. I'll do the intro and the gist of what we're going to be talking about, and then that's the first question I'm going to answer, Bill. No problem. So, welcome to the CMF live show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, on this live show, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, regulations, and politics. Everything that plays a role into the world essentially shifting into a digital era. Now, I'm going to talk about the gist of what we're going to talk about tonight's live show, and then we'll do the disclaimer of tonight's live show as usual. So what we're going to talk about tonight's live show is regarding MT-GOX. They've reached the stage where now they're essentially refunding people through Kraken and Bitstamp today. That's why the market was a little bit down, because people were receiving refunds once again from MT-GOX. We're also going to be talking about regarding Tom Hemmer, who's came out and slammed the US SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, and warned people against Kamala Harris. And we're also going to talk about tonight's live show regarding the SUI Foundation, who have announced an integration with Amazon Web Services, AWS. We're also going to talk about the Hamilton Lane and essentially launching a tokenized credit fund on Solana's blockchain on tonight's live show as well. We're also going to talk about the US lawmakers sending a letter to OpenAI requesting government access to OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. The US government wants full access to ChatGPT by the looks of it. We're also going to talk about tonight's live show regarding Fidelity. Fidelity, the managing $500 trillion company, essentially has came out and they published a report on the future of Ethereum, and they've shared mixed opinions regarding Ethereum's future. A perspective from Fidelity. We're also going to talk about a car manufacturer on tonight's live show because it's relatable to blockchain. Toyota is planning to essentially use a particular altcoin for the technology in its vehicles, which is quite massive if you think about it, because Toyota does sell quite a lot of cars worldwide, reliable cars worldwide, and they're going to be choosing a particular crypto project to use as a backframe for their vehicles. Now, we're also going to talk about, once again, Kamala Harris as well on this live show, and how she's essentially paying off people to say good things about her. But we'll talk about that as when we get to that news. We're also going to talk about Hong Kong on tonight's live show as well. I revealed once on this live show that Hong Kong has decided to do a reverse Bitcoin futures, which is essentially you can bet against Bitcoin, essentially shorting the market as an ETF, similar to an ETF. And essentially, some CEOs essentially have came out and said that this could be bad and could essentially cause the market to be quite volatile towards Bitcoin. We're also going to talk about tonight's live show regarding Binance and Telegram and TON. So yesterday's live show, I reviewed that OKX Exchange has decided to start developing applications or mini games for Telegram on the TON chain. It turns out Binance today has decided to do the exact same thing on developing some games or funding some games on Telegram, which are all on TON chain. So essentially yesterday we had OKX Exchange announcing it, working alongside TON chain. Now we have Binance. TON is going to become absolutely massive. We're also going to talk about tonight's live show regarding WorldCoin. WorldCoin essentially partnered with JP Morgan. That is going to be an interesting partnership and also quite a terrifying partnership, to be fairly honest, if you know what WorldCoin is. We're also going to talk about tonight's live show regarding the XRP lawyer John Deaton and how he slammed Senator Elizabeth Warren to overturn a certain bill. We're also going to talk about tonight's live show regarding the UAE Central Bank and how they've just approved a framework for stablecoin regulation. The Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates has just given a green light to stablecoin regulations, which is quite massive. So those are the news topics we are going to be talking about tonight's live show. Quite a mixture of news to go for tonight's live show. Now, the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So welcome to the CMF live show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, and if you're a regular, let's go CMF. And also, we do Q&As as well on this live show, live Q&As. So if you have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. I read everybody's comments one by one, because everybody's taking time out their day to join to this live show every single night, and I want to respond to everyone. So before we go through the first news, which is about MT Gox refunding people, that is why the market has went a little bit sideways today and down. Is because of MT Gox refunding people through Kraken Exchange and Bitstamp, caused a bit of a worry inside the market space. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. So let's see where we were inside the comment section. We were at Ray. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Many saying the cyber attacks. I think that was a Billow's question, which was here, I think. Do you also believe in that black swan? So Billow's question was, do you also believe in that black swan around election times? Can you tell more about it? And what is that effect on XRP and the markets? So regarding the essentially market space and regarding a black swan event that could possibly maybe happen around election times, a lot of things can happen around election times, believe it or not, and a black swan event could be in one of the outcomes. It's not the outcome, it's one of the outcomes. A black swan event can happen before an election, on an election, or after an election. And as I said previously, if there was ever going to be a major black swan event for essentially crypto, it's going to be USDT. If we ever get a major, essentially, black swan type of event, it's going to be USDT, because that will do the most amount of damage in the most quickest possible time to the crypto markets. But it will also create massive buying opportunities if you're intelligent enough to catch the prices. But yeah, USDT will be the only biggest black swan event that we'll experience inside the crypto space. Anything else will just be speculations and noise. So can we experience it? Yes. Regarding XRP, how will that affect XRP? Well, there's going to be a bankers token on the backside. So if banks are going to be doing transactions, it shouldn't affect it much in any sort of way, especially if Ripple has their own stablecoin out. If they don't, and that black swan event happens and USDT becomes downfall, it will also damage XRP for a little while as well. But again, it will create a buying opportunity. So that's what will happen. But keep it as an outcome, not the outcome, but an outcome. Evening, Miles and family. Hope all you are well. Ian, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Jim, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Miles, do you think any XRP pump will take place? Do I think any XRP pump will take place? Yes, very likely is what I would say. So two things that match. One is Brad at an XRP Ledger Apex event, and he was asked the question of, when is this Ripple versus SEC case going to come to an end? And Brad said it's going to happen sooner than you think, to the answer of that question. And the date he, as an estimate he gave, was end of summer. Now, fast forward to essentially yesterday, a former SEC lawyer came out and said that the SEC versus Ripple is not going to be going to a settlement. It's going to be going to a final judgment, and it's going to happen in weeks. This is coming from essentially an ex-SEC lawyer who's just stepped forward and essentially used some factual information as well on how the legal process works at the SEC, and essentially laid it all out and said that if there is going to be a settlement, then this and this should have happened by now, and this hasn't happened by now. And therefore, we're going to a final judgment instead, from his own experience. So this perfectly matches up with essentially what Brad said as well, regarding it's going to happen sooner than you think, regarding Ripple versus SEC coming to essentially an ending. And also with the ex-SEC lawyer saying this, it pretty much matches. Now, Brad in his life has once mentioned that, regarding a very long time ago, Brad was asked the question of when is this case going to get a resolution? And Brad said that we're going to get a resolution for the XRP case in a matter of weeks, not months. And exactly in a matter of weeks, we had a resolution that XRP is not a security by Judge Torres. That was a while ago. But his words were accurate, is what I'm trying to say. Now, fast forward to essentially this last week, where Brad mentioned again after a while of what's going to happen. So his words were correct the first time around. Very possible, highly possible that his words are going to be correct the second time around as well. And it also matches with the ex-SEC lawyer as well. So do we expect any sort of pump for XRP? Yes. If those words, so far matching and do come as accurate information, then yes, definitely expect a pump. And in general, this case should be ending this year. There is nothing left on this case in any sort of a way to be continuing. And I highly, essentially, I'm very doubtful that the SEC will even think about essentially countersuing Ripple in any sort of a way after final judgment, essentially appealing the situation in any sort of a way, because, well, Joe Biden is out of the picture, which means essentially nobody's protecting Gary Gensler anymore. Not even the Biden administration could save Gary Gensler right now. So I'm very doubtful he's even going to think about appealing the situation, because he's lost every single major case. The SEC and Gary Gensler have lost every single major case that they've ever brought into the courts regarding cryptocurrencies and securities. So yeah, definitely expected. Regarding a pump taking place for XRP, yes. I'm, based on the information, yes. Correspondents from CBS said that highly possible that a cyber attack from Russia or America from their new financial systems, again, she said this year. That perfectly also matches up as well. Say, evening, Mouse and CMF. Sempre, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Is Ton on your top 10? Yes, it is. Hi, Mouse and CMF. Dennis, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Why is USDT the biggest black swan event? Will it affect XRP? Also, if XRP is like 10 euros based on adoption, if it's based on heavy adoption, then it shouldn't affect it much. Maybe like 2 euros coming down in price. That's pretty much how it should affect it. If there were a collapse and XRP will go down, is it worth it to buy now instead of then? Well, you can go for either way. I mean, dollar cost averaging is always the best method, because obviously not financial advice, but dollar cost averaging is always the best method because you're catching all price points along the way. So if the market does go down, then you're catching that price point. If the market goes up, it's okay because you're dollar cost averaging into the market. You're not buying in bulk, essentially. So dollar cost averaging, and I've always said this, and I was correct on saying this as well a while ago. Pretty much everything I say comes true. Almost everything, but no, everything comes true. But regarding, catching price points or standing on the sidelines, you should never stand on the sidelines, preferably. Dollar cost averaging will always be the better option, unless you want to risk it and stand on the sidelines. Good evening, Miles and family. But XRP, good to see you. How you doing? I stand on the sidelines sometimes, but that's only because, if you're holding quite a bit, you're not worried about missing out. If you have heavy bags, you don't worry about missing out, even if you do stand on the sidelines. But if you don't have heavy bags, then dollar cost averaging is always the better option. Will USDT and cyber attacks, two different black swan events? Will USDT and cyber attacks, two different black swan events? Yes, they can be two different black swan events. And also going back to what Brad said as well. Brad said that when he was asked the question, so Brad was doing a podcast and he was asked the question of, do you expect a black swan event to happen? And his response was yes. So that is the Ripple CEO being asked the question of, do you expect a black swan event to happen? And his answer was yes. So that should put some sort of perspective as well. But if XRP will go up based on utility to like 30 euros and then USDT collapses, will that happen to the price in your opinion? It shouldn't affect it much if the utility is there. Will it stay around 30 euros or way less? Not way less, maybe 2-3 euros less. Everything comes true, Miles. Everything that I say comes true. Let's go, Denise. Good evening, Miles and Denise and family. Gamble, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Yeah, basically. But, if we do expect a black swan event, black swan events create excellent buying opportunities. And remember what I said. If we do go through a major black swan type of event, let's just say, it's not the outcome, but it's an outcome to consider. Always consider multiple outcomes. It's foolish to consider only the market can go a certain way or so on. You should always consider multiple outcomes so you're not surprised. The market could go a million types of ways. But if you narrow it down to 3 or 4 based on absolute logic, common sense, and factual information, you're good to go. Now, remember what I said, which was, if we do go through a blackout type of situation, which is roughly what's happening around the world, to be fairly honest. I said this a while ago, and I've repeated it again recently. And I said, if we do go through a blackout type of situation, this is an opportunity to gloat about blockchain. It's what's going to happen next is essentially offline CBDCs. Because when we went through a very small blackout type of situation, not small, some Australia flights were cancelled, hospitals were, essentially not doing too well during this whole blackout that just happened a few days ago. But people were gloating, and saying Bitcoin is doing quite well for itself during this blackout, or Ethereum and so on. I said people are morons that they don't realize what's happening next. What's actually happening next is essentially offline CBDCs is what's going to happen next. So if we do go for a major blackout type of situation, offline CBDCs is what's going to happen, because it's going to get to a stage that if we do go for a major blackout type of situation, people aren't going to be accessing their mobile bank accounts. Everybody's used to mobile bank accounts, and if we do go for a blackout type of situation, people are going to try to log on to their mobile apps, and it doesn't work. And if that doesn't work, then the government's going to come out and say, look, we have a problem. I mean, we have Am I back? Okay, we're back. I'm guessing we're back. Lagging. I think YouTube shouldn't lag. I think it's just maybe X is lagging. I think YouTube is good to go. But we are back. Yeah, YouTube is okay. Okay, so we are back. Let's go. I can't explain what happened there in any sort of a way. I think I was just maybe a little bit too spot on and accurate with the information, because that was extremely odd. We haven't experienced something like that in a while. Yeah. Now, can't see him yet. You can't see me? I'm here. Fine, you're good. Let's go. Okay, all good, Miles. I can see you. Let's go. Let's see where we were. We were. Hoping that doesn't happen again. But we were at. So what are you saying by USDT Black Swan? Retail money inside the XRP price and not utility, not market cap, or am I wrong? No, utility is what matters. Miles, are you looking forward to the future, 5 to 10 years? Reality, living in a CBDC world. I mean, I'm on XRP and so on, so we're on the back burn, so we're good. Everybody else is pretty much done for in the CBDC world. Hit the like. Let's go. Woodhouse, let's go. I'm back. Gabble, hi. Let's say case ends price 3 to 4, and then adoption from end case to end 2024, 30 euros, the black swan. What will happen to the price be if you open your opinion? Can it be dropped to again to 10 or less? You can also expect a little bit of volatility in the market. Good evening, Miles, and hope you're all good. David, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Gone dark. What's happening? We are back. We'll be around 30 euros. I'm switching over to YouTube. Miles having problems with X. Patience is coming. Miles's phone holder fell. Censoring you, Miles. Blockchain fixes this. Looks like they don't like you talking about CBDCs. What is going on? Make sure it's attacks. Only kidding. And okay, it's just a black swan. Elizabeth Warren is sabotaging the live show. Wow. Let's get TikTok. No, TikTok is even worse. Trust me. TikTok is definitely worse. Yes, facts. He get banned for saying, you should be able to do X. What happened to the live? We are back. What is going on? What about if you turn off everything? That's exactly what I did. I turned everything off and on. It's back to normal. Did Crypto Miles crystal ball overheat and shut down the live by the looks of it? But we are back. Miles in his own blackout now, lol. These guys want the influencers to talk about Shiboni, Ninja, and Pepe's stepmom, not what's going on in the real world. Fair enough, Tor. All good, Miles. I can see you again. Let's go. Okay, and we are back, and we were at on X, only back on. Let's go. You're good. Hey, CMF. Hi, Miles. Stormy, good to see you. How you doing? How you been, Stormy? Can see him now. Let's go in. Back on now. Let's go, George. Lena, good to see you. How you doing? Even with a small bag. Denise, elaborate the small bag pots. We still have a social credit system. Yes. Even if a small bag in a digital world, yeah, you're still good. Even if you have a small bag of XLP or XLM XDC, if you hold longer than the person next to you, you're perfectly fine. Even if you have a small bag, I will still have CBDCs as I won't be selling my XRP till 5,000 per coin. Let's go, Woodhouse. Mouse, can you go up again to the chat? Mouse, can you go up again on the chat? I just did. Which will take 5 to 7 years. Which will take 5 to 7 years. Elaborate. Woodhouse, elaborate. Oh, as in the 5K will take 5 to 7 years is what you're saying. If XRP will reach 3 euros and after case based on adoption 30 euros and then Black Swan event, will it go back to 10 euros or less, or will it be around 30 euros in a big crash? It will go around about 20 is what I would say, not 10, but it could go 10 as well. But again, it's buying opportunities is what's going to be creating. So Let's go through the first news of this live show because we still haven't went through the first news, and it's regarding Mt. Gox, and it's also why the market space is slightly down today as well. So the reason why the market was a little bit downwards today is because of Mt. Gox. Again, the crypto exchange that was essentially compromised a decade ago and started refunding people recently has decided to refund people through Kraken today and Bitstamp essentially today as well, which is a lot of people getting refunds in Bitcoin, and which caused a little bit of a stir inside the market space of people maybe selling out. So Mt. Gox Bitcoin reaches Kraken users, Bitstamp users still waiting. Kraken users have finally started receiving their bitcoins from Mt. Gox. Bitstamp users, on the other hand, are still waiting. Mt. Gox, which is the largest Bitcoin exchange in the world, went bankrupt in 2014 after losing 850,000 BTC due to a hacking and mismanagement. This disaster left creditors essentially in a lull, and they have been waiting for years to get back their bitcoins. Back in its prime, Mt. Gox was handling over 70% of all Bitcoin transactions, but it all came crashing down when the exchange filed for bankruptcy after losing 850,000 BTC with $450 million at a time. Since then, creditors have been eagerly waiting for their bitcoins to be returned. The process has been slow, complicated, and filled with legal battles. So far, $3 billion has already been distributed, leaving about $5.8 billion still to be paid. Kraken has confirmed that they have received the funds and will credit users' accounts within 7 to 14 days. This means that users that claims the Mt. Gox will soon see their bitcoins reflected in their Kraken accounts, making it ready for trading or selling, a Kraken spokesperson said. They also said, "We're committed to ensuring our users to get their bitcoins as quickly as possible. The distribution has been uneven, with the top creditors set to receive a larger portion of the remaining bitcoin. This disparity has led to frustrations and questions about the fairness of the process. Essentially, Naboki, responsible for managing the repayment process, is making sure that the funds are distributed according to their claims filed by the creditors. There is still 90,000 plus BTC with approximately $5.7 billion in Mt. Gox's wallet waiting to be distributed." So why the market was a little bit down today, the crypto market in general, is because the Mt. Gox situation just came about again today, and people are going to get refunds through Kraken Exchange and Bithumb, and people are a little bit wary of maybe these people are going to sell their bitcoins and cause a little bit of price panic situation in the market space. So that's why the market is acting up today slightly as well. And now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is regarding Tom Hemmer, who has essentially slammed the US SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, and essentially also warned people against Kamala Harris. So Tom Hemmer, the congressman, has warned people against Kamala Harris and also slammed Gary Gensler. We're going to go exactly what he said. But before we do that, let's go start the comment section first. Like from 30 to 20 or 10, you said. Yeah, pretty much. What amount? Okay, let's see where we were. But how can the price will go down if there is utility in the market cap and not much retail? Well, even if at that particular time it is being used essentially for utility purposes, you've also got to always understand manipulation. If you understand manipulation, you understand everything else, trust me. Like from 30 to 20 to 10, you said, yeah. What amount of XRP do you consider? Because if it does that, more people will jump out. So that means more people from the retail section will be jumping out, which means more bankers will get on board. If you understand manipulation, you perfectly understand what I mean. What amount of XRP do you consider a small bag? 300 tokens? Sure, why not? Miles, I never asked you this question. Why does Ripple have 100 billion tokens of XRP? Why is it exactly that number? The reason why Ripple has quite a lot of XRP, individual XRP, in total, the reason why they printed around 100 billion XRP is because they need that much. A lot of people think that Ripple has essentially got too many tokens, too much XRP and so on. It's not really that much if you consider what they're trying to achieve. Trying to be a backbone for a financial system for the Bank of International Settlements and overtake SWIFT is even what Ripple recently mentioned. Monica Long mentioned on Ripple's own website about 2 days ago. It's not that many tokens if you're trying to essentially overtake an entire financial system. Also, remember, you're going to be burning Ripple, you're going to be burning XRP as well at the same time of doing transactions. Imagine 24/7 transactions happening all around the world between centralized banks and commercial banks and essentially even private banks as well. So that's not really that many tokens. Voice, not saying that you said it's a lot of tokens, but they need that much is what I'm trying to say. Voice Daily. I will be taking out a crypto loan in a few years in exchange for XRP to support or start a business. Crypto best way because you don't pay tax on debt. Now, Tom Hemmer, the congressman, The Congressman Tom Hemmer has recently taken to X to criticize the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) chairman Gary Gensler, and his comments have raised eyebrows, especially his warnings about potential Treasury Secretary picks by U.S. presidential candidate Kamala Harris. His statements emphasize the potential risk these people that could be essentially chosen could pose to the U.S. financial system and the future of cryptocurrency regulations. Tom Hemmer criticizes SEC chairman Gary Gensler. Tom Hemmer did not hold back in his criticism of the SEC chairman Gary Gensler. Although he praised the recent launch of spot Ethereum ETFs in the United States, he hasn't shied away from slamming the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission from his chair. Notably, he attributed this ETF approval not to the SEC's leadership, but to the judicial courts. In his post, he stated, "Great to see the US SEC adjust course and allow spot Ethereum ETFs to begin trading today. On second thoughts, we should actually be thanking the courts, not Gary Gensler or the SEC." In addition, he has also essentially argued that Gary Gensler's essential resignation from his chair. Meanwhile, Tom Hemmer's dissatisfaction with Gensler is not new. He has repeatedly criticized the SEC chairman's approach to crypto regulations, which he believes stifles innovations and hinders essentially market growth. His calls for Gary Gensler's removal underscores his frustration with a current regulatory landscape, warning over Kamala Harris's U.S. Treasury pick as well. In addition to his criticism of the SEC, Tom Hemmer expressed serious concerns about Kamala Harris potentially appointing Gary Gensler or Senator Elizabeth Warren as the Treasury Secretary. If that happens, say goodbye to any sort of innovation inside the United States. If Kamala Harris actually chooses Gary Gensler or Senator Elizabeth Warren as the U.S. Treasury Secretary, it's pretty much game over. He warned that such appointments could destroy the U.S. financial system due to their stance on economic policies. He stated, "Many people are concerned that Kamala Harris would appoint Elizabeth Warren or Gary Gensler to her Treasury Secretary. Their mission is to upend free markets, innovation, and global competitiveness would destroy our financial systems." Notably, his recent comments come aimed Donald Trump's VP pick, J.D. Vance, shared his frustration against Kamala Harris in a recent X post. He has blamed Kamala Harris for every policy failure over the last 4 years. Meanwhile, Tom Hemmer's warnings highlight the high stakes involved in the upcoming elections and the potential impact of key appointments on the financial sector. On the other hand, Tom Hemmer has also recently emphasized the importance of blockchain and essentially blockchain technology in the evolving digital economy. Reflecting his pro-crypto stance, he noted that in artificial intelligence, AI continues to integrate into various sectors. Blockchain will ensure authenticity and traceability and transparency of AI data. So, if you thought the nightmares are over with Gary Gensler pretty much resigning, going into 2025, if Kamala Harris is chosen, is she going to be choosing Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren as part of her own team? That would be an absolute nightmare, to be fairly honest. I still don't know who's voting for Kamala Harris in any sort of a way. I mean, why would be the only question to ask. Why would you be voting for Kamala Harris in any sort of a way? But hoping that doesn't come true, because that would be an absolute nightmare for pretty much everything. But I also don't think that will come true either way, because BlackRock won't let that happen either. BlackRock has a lot of pull, and BlackRock loves the idea of blockchain technology. Also, they're big into CBDCs. Also, the World Economic Forum is quite big into CBDCs as well, so they won't let that happen either. Now, so what I am trying to say is what's going to happen will happen either way. Sui Foundation is what we're going to talk about next. The Sui Foundation has announced the integration of Amazon Web Services AWS blockchain. The Sui Foundation has announced the integration of Amazon's Web Services AWS blockchain node runners on Sui, offering developers a self-managed node essentially deployment solution. This allows builders to set up and deploy Sui full nodes within the AWS environment, benefiting from the high availability, scalability, and reliability of AWS robust cloud infrastructures. AWS Blockchain Node Runner simplifies the process of running blockchain nodes, allowing users to easily deploy, scale, manage, and monitor secure blockchain nodes. As of today, Navi, a leading liquidity protocol on SUI, will be engaged as a node runner user to deploy full nodes on SUI. AWS blockchain node runners are designed to support builders at all stages of application lifecycle, offering blueprints that meet specific requirements from enhanced security and compliance to ease of deployment and monitoring. Node runners offers several technical advantages for deploying blockchain nodes. This includes validating best practice deployment templates for scalable node operations across multiple geographics, high availability through multi-node developments across different availability zones, and full open source deployment codes available on GitHub. It also helps organizations build secure, high-performing, resilient, and efficient node infrastructures. Navi is a leading liquidity protocol on SUI, is one of the first users to engage with node runners on SUI, and has essentially deployed their first node via AWS Amazon services. As a part of the AWS and SUI Foundation's commitment to empowering SUI builders and startups that utilize AWS, Amazon's blockchain node runners are building essentially on the SUI may be eligible for $5,000 in active credits. So SUI is doing a nice little partnership there with Amazon, launching essentially blockchain node runners on Amazon's AWS, which is going to do quite well for them. And also they're giving out $5,000 to any sort of startups that want to build on their network. So if you wanted to build on SUI's network, they're handing out $5,000 if your idea is eligible for the $5,000. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is regarding Hamilton Lane. Hamilton Lane is going to be launching the private credit, essentially managing over $900 million. So the Hamilton Lane company that's essentially managing $900 million has decided to launch a tokenized credit fund on Solana's blockchain. Hoping that works out very well for them. But that's the next news we're going to go from tonight's live show, is regarding the $900 million assets that are under this company. They're just about to go into tokenizations of a credit fund, and they're going to be building on Solana's blockchain. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Can't see Kamala Harris winning unless the election is rigged. Kamala Harris scheduled to address Bitcoin 24 event. That should be interesting. So Hamilton Lane, a private credit manager managing over $900 million in assets, has invested into cryptocurrencies by offering a tokenized private credit fund in Solana. This particular move is a part of the shift whereby institutions in the mainstream traditional financial sector are slowly opening up to the essentially of digital asset trading. Tokenization of Scope Fund on Solana. Hamilton Lane management firm reportedly said that they got the ability to issue a private credit fund linked to the Solana network. As a way for the adoption of blockchain-based DLT, the firm linked it with the credit management fund called Senior Credit Opportunities Fund, in which the firm has a total assets of around $556 million. To facilitate this initiative, Hamilton Lane partnered with Libra, a Web3 protocol developed through a joint venture between Breven Howard's WebN Group and Norman's crypto firm Laser Digital. This partnership aims to reach investors, potentially broadening Hamilton Lane's investor base and distribution channels, increasing accessibility and liquidity. The real-world assets include debt equities, real estate, mutual funds by any other investments that is liquid and restricted to traditional financial markets, and tokenization of which is believed to improve their liquidity, transparency, and market openness. In the case of full tokenizations of assets, it opens the possibility of issuing the claims of ownership with immediate transferabilities and their conversion essentially to other cryptocurrencies in the secondary markets. So it's not just Solana, but they're starting out with Solana and expanding to other crypto projects. In general, the fund is still giving returns between 10% per annum to its USD investors, hence fulfilling its role of providing a long-term stable private market investment avenue. Using Solana integration, Hamilton Lane is setting everyone up for success and ensuring that a larger part of their population gets sufficient route to tap into quality private credit investments. Potential implementations for Solana ETF approval. In a recent update from the president of the ETF store, Nate Gorsey, the idea of a spot Solana ETF is not out of reach, especially based on the Gorsey insights. We may have ETF issuers like BlackRock, Fidelity, or Van Eyck potentially applying for a joint Bitcoin, BTC, Ethereum, and Solana ETF at the same point. The ETF traders are currently trading at Bitcoin's ETFs and growing spot Ethereum ETFs, which are newly launched and approved by the US SEC. As seen with the Solana initiative, blockchain technology has measurable applications for creating institutional-grade financial derivatives. So Solana is going to be a part of the Hamilton Lane. It's the first project they've chosen to go with building on tokenizations. Hamilton Lane did say that they're going to have access to secondary markets as well in terms of cryptocurrencies. So they're branching out from Solana to other projects as well. But they're starting off with Solana first. I don't know personally if that was a great choice for them. Actually, I do know that was a terrible choice for them. Why would you start building essentially credit funds on Solana's blockchain for tokenized assets? What moron possessed these people? What moron suggested in Hamilton Lane's company and said, yes, Solana would be a great choice to build a tokenized fund for us. Forget the part that Solana has crashed 11 times on a major scale. The last one was 5 hours. So imagine Hamilton Lane, $900 million in assets, their customers not having access to any sort of their Solana tokenized funds for about 5 hours. That should go pretty well in their next meetings. So I don't know what moron came up with the idea on Hamilton Lane for, yes, Solana is a great place to start for tokenized funds. You know where JP Morgan went? Avalanche. JP Morgan went towards Avalanche for the same venture, and so did Citibank. They both went to AVAX. But Hamilton Lane, they decided with $900 million in assets to go to Solana, even though Solana's crashed 11 times, has major congestion issues. So what an absolute moron. But the intelligent part is at least they're branching out. They're starting with Solana and then branching out to other crypto projects. That's a better idea. But that's good news for Solana for the time being. Now, US lawmakers have sent a letter to OpenAI requesting government access. So ChatGPT, in other words. ChatGPT is going to be working with the US government by the looks of it. And the US lawmakers want access, full, pretty much access to what you say to ChatGPT. The US government wants to know what people type into ChatGPT is basically what they're asking from OpenAI. They sent a letter to OpenAI. So we're going to go through that next. They sent a letter to Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. And, obviously, let's not forget OpenAI's new partnership with Apple. What did Elon Musk say when Apple announced that iPhone? So when Apple announced that the new iPhone has AI capabilities, and they named it something Apple-y, they said Apple something, Apple AI or something, and Elon Musk tweeted out saying that's the worst idea ever because they're with ChatGPT and OpenAI, and that means the US government will spy on you full 24/7. That's what Elon Musk tweeted out the day Apple came out with this whole Apple AI, but it's just technically ChatGPT. Yeah, it turns out Elon Musk was spot on because this new letter that was just sent out to Sam Altman from US lawmakers wanting full access. It almost seems like Elon Musk knew something before, about 2 weeks before, by the looks of it. But before we go through that news, let's consider the comment section first. Let's see where we were. We were at here. Got an ad. It was too quick to even know what it was. The US Supreme Court taking women's rights away will cost Trump the election. Yeah, pretty much. Solana, $1,000 each. AVAX, $500 each. Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you. How you doing? Morning, Shelly. I deleted ChatGPT from my phone and that have access to any of my wallets. Smart move. Now, also the Section 702 is basically what's happening here. If anybody remembers Section 702, the exact same time the Bitcoin halving was happening was the exact same time the US passed the law of Section 702. The same day the Bitcoin halving was happening was the same day the US passed Section 702. So everybody was focused on Bitcoin halving. Nobody was focused on Section 702, which I revealed the news on. And it was basically essentially all tech firms inside the United States will become spyware for the US government, is what the law states. No subpoenas, any sort of way needed from courts or judges to have open access to any sort of tech firms inside the United States. Now, so fast forward to this now. The US lawmakers sent a letter to OpenAI requesting government access. Senate Democrats and one independent lawmaker have sent a letter to OpenAI CEO Sam Altman regarding the company's safety standards and employment practices towards whistleblowers. Perhaps the most significant portion of the letter, first obtained by the Washington Post, was item 9, which read, "Will OpenAI commit to making its next foundation model available to the US government agencies for pre-development testing, reviewing, analysis, and assessment?" The letter outlined 11 additional points to be addressed, including securing OpenAI's commitment to dedicating 20% of its computing power to fuel safety research and protocols to prevent a malicious actor or foreign advisories from stealing AI products from OpenAI. Regulatory scrutiny. Although regulatory scrutiny is nothing new for OpenAI and the encompassing artificial intelligence sector, the letter from the Democratic lawmakers was prompted by whistleblowers' reports of lax safety standards for the ChatGPT-4 Omni to ensure that the market release of the product was not delayed. OpenAI whistleblowers also claimed that efforts to bring safety concerns to management were met with retaliation and allegedly illegal non-disclosure agreements, driving the whistleblowers to file a complaint with the US Securities Exchange Commission in June 2024. Shortly after, in July, tech giants Microsoft and Apple re-announced their partnerships with OpenAI's board due to the increased regulatory scrutiny. The decision not to take up a board seat came despite Microsoft's $13 billion investment in OpenAI in 2023. Former OpenAI employee William recently revealed that he quit the company because he had felt the ongoing research at OpenAI might pose an extensional threat to humanity, likening the potential trajectory of OpenAI to the infamous crash of the RMS Titanic in 1912. So the last person that left OpenAI, ChatGPT, William Sanders, said that if he continued basically working at OpenAI, it was like working at Titanic. That sounds wonderful. Sanders clarified that he was not concerned about the current essential iterations of OpenAI ChatGPT large language model, but was more concerned about the future visions of ChatGPT and the potential developments of advancements of superhuman intelligence. The whistleblower argued that employees working within the artificial intelligence sector have the right to warn the public about potentially dangerous capabilities exhibited by rapid developments of synthetic intelligence. Yeah, so quite a lot of things to go through just from this one whole article. Basically, one, the US government wants full access to ChatGPT and OpenAI. Not the whole US government, but the letter came directly from Democrats. Democrats want access, full access to essentially ChatGPT and OpenAI, and they want full access in terms of testing purposes and full access, before it launches their new models. The US government wants, to have access to it before it gets launched. Why? Maybe because they want to input something before it gets launched. And two, the last person that left essentially OpenAI said that he doesn't want to work at OpenAI anymore because the future projects that are coming out of OpenAI, it's like working at Titanic, and it's pretty much the end of humanity, is what William Sanders said. And that's the last thing we ever heard from William Sanders because he hasn't spoken anymore. So those are two things that came out of OpenAI. One, the US government wants access to OpenAI and ChatGPT. Two, William Sanders said it's like working at Titanic for humanity. Now, the next news to go from tonight's slideshow is Fidelity. Fidelity, the managing, essentially the company with $5 trillion of essential assets under their belt, published a report on the future of Ethereum. Now, they've given it a bit of a mixed, essentially, opinion. is what Fidelity has done regarding Ethereum's future coming towards it. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Yes, they are allowed to access all your information now. That is very true. Facts, what Shelly said. Misinformation, miscommunication. Apple only gives Siri the okay to open up ChatGPT if it's already installed on your phone. Yes, that is true. Apple only gives Siri the okay to open up ChatGPT if it's already installed on your phone, but everybody's going to be using it. Everybody that buys the new iPhone, or everybody that essentially downloads or gets the update for the new iOS, is going to be using ChatGPT either way. This whole Apple saying you have to give the okay for Siri to connect to ChatGPT to give you the information. The first okay you give is pretty much done deal. The second okay, the third okay, the fourth okay, the 10th okay, doesn't matter. It's the first okay you gave. You can actually basically ask, hey Siri, the new update on iOS, connected to ChatGPT. Hey Siri, what's the weather today? And it goes, do you want me to ask ChatGPT? And you go, yes. That first yes you give just for the weather app is pretty much done deal. Full access to your phone. Because it has a 200-page terms and conditions essentially document that nobody ever reads that PDF document. And every time you download an app, there's always an accept button and a decline button. And if you press terms and conditions accept, which everybody does, because nobody reads the 200-page document behind it, which is the first okay you give is pretty much good to go. The Apple thing is only a voice command feature only, but it connects to ChatGPT's data to give you information. That's what the issue lies. So Siri has to connect to ChatGPT's data to give you information back to Siri to give you the information. So ChatGPT plays a third-party role, which is the data part. Now, Fidelity. Fidelity, managing $5 trillion, publishes a report on the future of Ethereum. The Ethereum blockchain went through its highest inflation period in the last quarter, with approximately 110,000 Ethereum added to the total supply. This equates to an annual inflation rate of 0.37%, according to a recent report by Fidelity Digital Assets. Analysts Daniel Gray and Max Willington suggest that ETH supply is unlikely to experience dramatic fluctuations in a short to medium term, but the growing preference for lower fee layer 2 platforms and increased demand for staking could lead to more frequent inflationary quarters. The network has seen 5% increase in the number of validators since April, and the recently implemented restaking could further increase staking demands. Following the Decon upgrade in the first quarter, Fidelity highlighted impressive adoptions of its layer 2 platforms. Transactions on these platforms have increased by approximately 20%, indicating a positive future for Ethereum networks. Layer 2 platforms are separate blockchains built on the top underlying blockchains, namely layer 1s. Ethereum is currently trading approximately 67% above its realized price of $2,050. At the end of the second quarter, this is the highest price seen since inception, although it remains well below the ETH 2021 high. The realized price aims to capture the average cost basis of all current ETF holders. Fidelity essentially noted that this may indicate that the investors may be comfortable allocating funds to ETH compared to 2021 highs. Despite a strong start to the year, the fundamentals of Ethereum base layers declined in the second quarter. Monthly new addresses decreased by 16%, active addresses decreased by 14%, and transaction numbers decreased by 9% when it came to Ethereum. However, as the Tier 2 ecosystems continue to evolve, the impact of Tier 1 metrics and valuations is expected to diminish according to the report. Regarding their mixed reviews, so Fidelity has came out with two analysts coming from their side, giving a mixed perspective on Ethereum. One suggesting essentially that Ethereum is doing quite well for itself, and the other suggesting Ethereum's not doing too well, but the projects built upon Ethereum are doing better. I would have to agree with number two, that the projects built on Ethereum are doing better. But Ethereum itself, as the ETF progresses, will do better as well, is what I would say. But it's nice to see companies like essentially massive corporations like Fidelity coming forward and doing study test papers on blockchain and choosing blockchains to do study test papers on, something that never happened in the past. Now, Toyota, one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world, Toyota, has came out and said that they're going to be using blockchain technology in their vehicles, and they've already chosen what blockchain they're going to be going with, one particular project, and it is Ethereum. Ethereum is the chosen project by Toyota to be used in their vehicles in terms of technology purposes. So blockchain technology and Toyota cars is what's coming next. Now we're going to go through that news next, but before we go through that, let's go to the comment section first. Does ChatGPT get all the information on Samsung phones as well? Miles, yes, all. To be fair, look, on the whole ChatGPT issue, I mean, everything you do is being tracked 24/7 anyways. If you use Telegram, you've been tracked. WhatsApp, you've been tracked. So, you know, I use ChatGPT for work purposes as well. But always just be wary is what I'm trying to say. On Samsung as well, yes. Good morning, Professor Miles and the CMF crew. Thank you, brother. Good to see you. How you doing? Good to know about ChatGPT because I will not download it on my Apple devices that I don't want any information compromised. Good move. Good move, Marcus. I'm sorry, Miles, I missed your shows, but I'm actually in Cape Verde. Okay, thank you, brother. I will not typo. It will not download it. I will be back in 1 week, but I will try to catch up. Let's go. Thank you, brother. Have fun on vacation. Now, Toyota. Toyota plans to use this altcoin technology in its vehicles. Toyota, one of the world's largest automobile companies, is exploring the potential of incorporating Ethereum blockchain technology into its vehicles. According to a statement, Toyota, which plans to integrate the Ethereum blockchain into its vehicles, plans to design a movement-oriented account, which is an MOA, using the Ethereum ERC 4337 standard. At this point, Toyota Blockchain Lab proposes to develop an MOA, mobility-oriented account based on Ethereum ERC 4337 to ensure that the account can be maintained even if the private key is lost. Accordingly, it was stated that the purpose of developing the motion-oriented calculation MOA tool using the ERC 4337 standard is to move towards a fully autonomous driving in the future. So your vehicles in the future from Toyota are going to be driving, by themselves, are going to be under the ETH chain. I wonder what happens when it gets congested. Does it just stop in the middle of the road? We call such an account the blockchain MOA, mobility-oriented account, based on the currently mainstream account obstruction standard ERC 4337 in Ethereum. We are exploring how to design an MOA, is what Toyota said, word for word. Additionally, Toyota Blockchain Labs also stated that they look forward to receiving more new proposals from Ethereum community, including the new EIP 7702. So, autonomous driving, Toyota is the first one leading the track. I mean, Tesla is leading the track as well with autonomous driving, and so are so many manufacturers in China. But this is the first car manufacturer in the world, one of the biggest in the world, that's using blockchain for autonomous driving. Because we know Tesla is doing autonomous driving, and in Mercedes-Benz they have in S-Class and so on, all the electric vehicles they have, essentially autonomous driving, but none of them are using blockchain technology. But this is going to be the first vehicle in the world to have autonomous driving with blockchain technology from Ethereum. So that's interesting to see, to be fairly honest. For all the aspects of blockchain to be used in terms of tokenizations or payment transfers, or essentially real estate again, tokenized and derivatives and bonds and stocks and assets, and then you have the payment section and data section, the gaming section, the AI section, and so on. And then for Ethereum for autonomous driving, every part of this world is about to go digital. Even the driverless cars will be on blockchain. I guess the data has to be stored somewhere. I will be back in one. I got rid of that. Any news on XRP? Yes, one. We'll get towards it. So, the next news to go from tonight's live show is regarding Kamala Harris. So, it turns out Kamala Harris is playing a role where she's pro-crypto, apparently. Even though she was a part of the Biden administration for a very long time and could have essentially made Gary Gensler do the right thing, she never did. But apparently now that she wants to become president of the United States, she's pro-crypto all of a sudden, overnight. Kamala Harris could be far more open to crypto businesses, apparently. Mark Cuban says. She got Mark Cuban to come out and say good things about her, that she's pro-crypto. Kamala Harris could be much more open to technological innovation and cryptocurrencies than President Joe Biden. That's not really a compliment. Anybody's more pro-crypto than essentially Joe Biden. Billionaire investor Mark Cuban told, essentially, when he was asked on a news channel, an interview, small interview, according to Mark Cuban, the tech industry could have unexpected allies in the former US Senator and Attorney General of California. This is what Mark Cuban said. He said, the feedback I'm getting, but certainly not confirmed by the VP, is that she will be far more open to business, artificial intelligence, crypto, and government as a service, Cuban told the journalist in the interview. Changing the policies changes the message and lets everyone know she is in charge and open and literally for business. Kamala Harris' team have been reportedly reached out to crypto executives to seek input on crypto policies, Mark Cuban said. She has only 4 weeks left until the Democratic National Convention to present her agenda. Another tech CEO noted that Kamala Harris has a chance to gather support and donations from West Coast tech executives and venture capitalists who hope to see action on issues left behind by Biden's administration, such as immigration reform for highly skilled workers and clear regulations for artificial intelligence. This was also said, if by the end of the week she had a tech policy framework out there, a 10-point plan for pro-business, pro-tech, and pro-entrepreneurship, and it was credible, I think she could very quickly rally a significant portion of the ecosystem. Arvin Levy, the CEO of cloud computing company Box, told the same journalist. According to Levy, the vice president could gather support from a dozen post-tech CEOs if she fosters a pro-tech policy approach. Kamala Harris' presidential campaign raised more than $100 million in less than 48 hours after President Biden dropped out the race and endorsed her as a nominee. According to Team Harris, the donations came from 1.1 million unique supporters, including 62% first-time donors. So 62% of morons decided to essentially donate their hard-earned money to Kamala Harris. I don't know where these 62% of morons came from, but they decided to donate to Kamala Harris for no apparent reason. And the other 1.1 unique million supporters are also morons too, to be fairly honest. She's not pro-crypto in any sort of a way. Where is this topic coming from? She was a part of the Biden administration. She was the same person that said Biden's going to veto when essentially they were trying to get some sort of regulations for cryptocurrencies coming in. She was the same person that said, we're going to veto it if it comes through. So what happened since last week until now, and now she's pro-crypto? People need to stop believing into this BS of, these types of politicians can all of a sudden, change their opinions overnight. She was a part of the Biden administration. She could have stand with crypto or blockchain technology every time Gary Gensler wasted everybody's time, but she didn't. And then when the congressmen did vote in something pro-crypto, she came out and said, basically, she was on the same side of Biden, we're going to veto it. But now she's pro-crypto because she wants to become president, and she's getting Mark Cuban and some CEOs coming out and speaking good things for her. She's a moron, and whoever votes for her is also a moron. She's not pro-crypto in any sort of a way. It's an absolute waste of time. Stop donating to her, is what I would say. Stop being brainwashed by politicians. Now, Hong Kong. Because nothing has changed, I'll be honest, since last week until now. She's still the same person, which is a money-hungry, greedy person, basically. I was going to say some other words, but we are on live and I can't say them. So we're going to stick with the money-hungry, greedy person. Hong Kong reverse Bitcoin futures may trigger volatility, warns Bitfinex head of derivatives, is what we're going to go through next. So I recently revealed on this live show that Hong Kong essentially has introduced the first ever in reverse Bitcoin ETF situation, where essentially corporations and accredited investors can come forward and bet against the market on the other way. And this has drawn some attention from CEOs around the world and in Hong Kong as well, that this could cause some volatility in the market if corporations stop betting against Bitcoin. Now, Hong Kong reverse Bitcoin futures may trigger volatility, warns Bitfinex head of derivatives. The new inverse Bitcoin product at Hong Kong allows betting on price declines, potentially attracting diverse investors. The CSOP Bitcoin Futures Daily -1x inverse product was listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange today, allowing investors to bet on Bitcoin's price declines. Jag Kuno, the head of derivatives at Bitfinex, believes this product could spark potential volatility in the crypto market and show investors sentiment as it begins trading alongside elections and Ethereum ETF narratives. So the same day that Ethereum ETF pretty much gets a green light is the same day that the Bitcoin inverse comes out from Hong Kong. The launch of Asia's first Bitcoin futures inverse product in Hong Kong could mark a significant development in the Asian financials and cryptocurrency markets, especially after China's blanket ban in almost all crypto activities. Shared Kuno with Crypto Briefings. CSOP, an asset manager that covers the China mainland, Hong Kong, and US markets. Notably, this product could offer investors a unique opportunity to profit from volatility in the price of Bitcoin, something that reflects a growing sophistication and diversity in the types of investment vehicles available in digital asset space. Moreover, as it essentially acts as a tool for diversification and risk management, the inverse BTC futures could help sophisticated traders hedge their positions in times of high volatility. By enabling profits from price declines, it can help manage risk, especially due volatility market demands and periods. As a result, this might attract a broader range of investors, even those that are bearish on Bitcoin's short-term prospects. This translates to more volume and liquidity in the Bitcoin futures market. Kuno also highlighted the regulatory milestones in this product represents, as it shows Hong Kong's ambition to become a leading hub for crypto and blockchain innovation. Hong Kong has long been a hub for financial innovation and is also known to have a soft hand approach to financial institutions, and this move further cements its position as a leading player in the cryptocurrency market. It demonstrates a deeper understanding of investments needs and commitments to providing a broader spectrum of financial instruments that can cater to different market conditions. As investors look to diversify their investments and positions themselves for the months ahead, the head of derivatives at Bitfinex assesses the market participants should watch for potential volatility. The inverse product could influence short-term price movements and provide insights into investor sentiments, Kuno concludes. So, according to multiple CEOs, that this could essentially cause a bit of volatility. So also today, the market being a bit sideways and a bit down, was the exact same day. Today was the day essentially that the doors opened for an inverse Bitcoin ETF type of situation in Hong Kong, which is essentially accredited investors or corporations betting against Bitcoin is what's going on today, which is why it's causing a little bit of volatility. So also today was the same day that MT Gox again announced that they're going to be giving out some more refunds through Kraken Exchange, which has also caused a little bit of a stir inside the cryptocurrency space market. Now, the next news to talk about tonight's live show is regarding Binance Labs. Yesterday, I revealed to everybody that OKX Exchange has essentially, went forward with Telegram and Ton. So Telegram CEO recently announced that they're going to be creating an app store, a Web3 app store on Telegram, because Telegram is aiming to become an everything app with its 900 million users, which is massive. And the only blockchain they're using is Ton. And OKX Exchange decided to build in a game that people could play, earn points, and essentially earn crypto on it. But it's OKX Exchange working alongside Telegram and Ton. And that was yesterday. Today, Binance is going to be doing the exact same thing. Binance is going to be funding, essentially investing into this Telegram-based gaming bots. So yesterday was OKX Exchange. going with the flow regarding Telegram and Web3 and mini apps and Telegram becoming everything app. And now it's Binance today doing the exact same thing. I said this before and I'll say it again. TON will become absolutely massive. TON. It's going to become absolutely massive. What TON has, which is Telegram, which is 900 million users. TON's price point over time, TON's price point, not financial advice, will go through the roof. Over time, not overnight, over time, not financial advice in a sort of a way, entertainment purposes only, but TON's price point over time will go through the absolute roof. 900 million users, Telegram, and the only blockchain they will ever use is TON because they developed TON themselves. It's crazy, absolutely massive. And now it's Binance doing it as well. Now, before I read you that news and what they're going to be investing in exactly on Telegram and TON, so on, let's go inside the comment section first. We were at, let's see, we were at any, okay, Mercedes-Benz, the best. Let's go Bull XLP. I hope the cars are faster than Ethereum, lol. I hope so too as well. Hello, Miles and CMF. I hope that everyone had a good day. Scott, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Miles, I hope your parents, yourself, and business, everything's doing well. Scott, thanks so much for asking. I'm glad to be in the house. Let's go, Scott. Evening, Miles and CMF. Pierce, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? PC, good to see you as well. Long time, brother. How you been? What is your price predictions after case? Let's say 48 hours after. 1 to 5 is what's going to be the price point, to be fairly honest. 1 to 5. Because the retail is to jump out one last time. Agree 100% about Kamala Harris. She's just like all the rest, lying, tricky wokes. Yeah, pretty much. Absolutely. Now, Binance Labs. Binance Labs invest in this Telegram-based gaming bot. Binance Labs has invested into Pluto Studios, the gamified publishing platform behind the Telegram-based Web3 game Catizen. The gaming bot attracted the interest of the investors in recent months. As a positive sentiment dominated the market, Binance Labs continues to support the crypto startup to improve innovation in the industry. Binance Labs leads funding rounds. In a new release, Binance Labs disclosed that in its lead in the investment funding rounds for the gamified projects that launched Catizen, the venture capital arm of the largest crypto exchange, Binance is known for financing Web3 firms. According to the release, Pluto Studios will use this funding to drive market growth supporting the Catizen mini app alongside game engine constructions. This will create an easy pathway to onboard new developers for the project. Yi He, the co-founder of Binance Labs, expressed delight in the latest funding rounds, pointing to the potential to onboard more users of Web3. Binance Labs is always excited about supporting projects like Pluto Studio that have the potential to onboard billions of users into Web3. This is what Binance said. We look forward to backing more visionary builders who aim to create products designed for mass adoption. On their part, Pluto Studios hailed the support provided by VC arm of the largest exchange with the trading volumes. Rick Wong, the co-founder of Pluto Studios, stated it drives the market confidence in the firms to build the infrastructure for Web3 entertainments. Wong added that with the funding round commencing. Absolutely massive, honestly. Yesterday we had OKX Exchange, and today now we have Binance working essentially on this whole mini app Web3 Telegram and TON venture. Who are we going to get tomorrow or the day after is what's going to be the question. But yes, absolutely massive. I've said this before and I'll say it again. TON will become a massive competitor. A massive competitor. Now, WorldCoin. This is a bit of a major news situation as well. WorldCoin is tapping into JP Morgan-backed Epic for world chain integration. JP Morgan Bank and WorldCoin. So WorldCoin, dodgy. JP Morgan Bank, dodgy. Both of them coming together, extremely dodgy. The easiest way to put it is the next news we're going to go through on tonight's live show. But before we go through, let's go to the comment section. How quickly will the price, see what I think we're here, yep. How quickly will the price go up and then go back down? Is this something I could miss overnight, or will it be over a couple of days? I'm concerned I might miss it, as the announcement will be when I'm sleeping. I presume it should be a couple of days. Now, the best price point will be an overnight type of situation. The best price point will be an overnight type of situation. Straight after the case, price will go up for XRP, $1 to $5, come back down because everybody will sell after holding for 6 years and 7 years and so on. The best price point will be an instant type of situation, but the price being low will be a couple of days. Because the best price point will be instant. It will be an instant, essentially downwards. But being down will be a couple of days before it starts picking up, and then nothing stopping it, just going higher and higher and higher. So best price point, instant type of situation, but a couple of days will be down for, is what I would say. Miles, what do you think XRP price will go to immediately after settlement price, please? 1 to 5 is what you're looking at. $1 to $5 is what you're basically looking at. And everybody that's been holding for 6 to 7 years or 5 years or 4 years will sell XRP. Price will come drastically down. But then for a couple of days, the price will be a little bit low. After a couple of days, the price will start climbing again because there is nothing stopping it now. It has all the contracts within place, it has all the developments within place, it has all the licensings in place. And it's the only asset that's given a full green light by the courts on paper. So there's nothing stopping it its way. So after a couple of days, it will start climbing and climbing and climbing with road bumps along the way, but with climbing for utility purposes. So that's what's exactly going to happen to XRP. News gets announced, XRP final judgment, everybody starts getting excited, XRP starts shooting up. Everybody that's been holding for 6 years, 7 years, 4 years, 3 years, whatever years, they will sell. XRP come drastically back down again, an instant spike downwards, some type of situation. And then people are going to keep on fight. People and the bears will push it down. The bulls will try to push it back up again because the bulls are buying the bears' positions. When that happens, that's going to be the best price point you're going to catch it for one last time. But it will go a little bit sideways for a few days. After that few days, it will just climb and stop, climb and stop, and climb and stop, and climb and stop, and climb and stop, because it's being used for utility purposes. That's exactly the blueprint of how it's going to be happening step by step for XRP. It's an unfortunate example that sanctions don't work. Russia just became the 6th biggest economy, gold, silver. Sanctions never worked, to be fairly honest. They never worked. I've always said this as well. Miles, what do you think XRP 1 to 5, basically? Any advice? How can you get involved with all that Binance ton? Yeah, definitely keep your eye out on ton. If you want to go for ton, keep your eye out on ton to catch the best price point, basically. Miles, how long will the price of XRP stay up for, as I am not back till the 31st of this month? A few weeks is what we're looking at, so you're perfectly fine. Every bank is dodgy, that's why it's called fractional banking. Yes, but some banks are dodgier than the rest. Should I put a sell order then, do you think? Otherwise, I'll miss it. I could miss it, I mean. You could, and if you want, you can. Why not? You think XRP will go above $2 before the bears take over and push down the price? Yeah, I think it will. I think go a little bit above $2. The momentum is too strong for it. Because let's not forget, I mean, it's the entire world knows about XRP. If you're in crypto, let's just put it in the perspective. If you're in crypto, you know what XRP is. If you're in crypto, you know what XRP is. So once that news gets announced of a final judgment type of situation, it's not just the American markets buying in, the retail section. It's the American markets, the Canadian markets, the European markets, the United Kingdom, the Australian markets, the Japanese markets, the Hong Kong markets, the Singaporean markets, the South Korean market, already South Korea. In South Korea, in the last week, there's been more purchases of XRP than there has been of Bitcoin or Ethereum on a drastic movement. So once that news gets announced, it's the entire world. If you're in crypto, you know what XRP is. And if you hate XRP or love XRP, you still hold some XRP. So once that news gets announced, it's the entire retail section of the world that is in blockchain is going to go for XRP. Not just the retail section, but the whales that are holding in heavy, they're going to go for it as well. And then there'll be a massive drop because people have been holding for 6 years, 7 years on XRP. There'll be a massive drop where the bears will push it down. So it will go above 2 before that massive drop comes. But then after that massive drop, it will be a few days of consolidation and then sideways up for XRP. So this is why I also sent out a tweet. I sent out a tweet and I said, if you think you've lost your chance on buying XRP cheap one last time, you haven't. Because once that news gets announced, XRP will climb, shoot back down because people have been holding for 6 years. And that's your last time to buy it at the best possible price before it goes sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways, up, because now nothing's stopping it. No more court cases. It's actually recognized by the US system, by the US government. It's actually recognized as an asset, it's recognized as commodity, not security, and so on. It's got green lights. It's got licensings on its names. It owns a lot of partnerships and companies and contracts. So nothing's stopping it after that. Nothing. But price will go. So news gets announced, price goes. People have been holding for 6 years. They will sell, price goes. And then it will come a little bit up because they'll push it back up a little bit. Essentially, the bulls will push it back up a little bit. It'll go consolidation for a few days. And then up, sideways for XRP. Up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways. Intelligent people will buy back in. Some people will say, thank God I can sell my XRP and jump out. But the intelligent people will buy back in. Again, not financial advice in any sort of a way. But remember, nothing's stopping it then. And remember one thing. Nobody can name a crypto project like XRP. And what I mean by that is, there's not a single crypto project that's went through multiple, essentially, bull markets. There's not a single crypto project like XRP in the terms of XRP went through bull markets and bear markets, staying in the top 10, whilst battling the SEC, signing more contracts than any other crypto project, acquiring more companies than any other crypto projects, doing more developments and more partnerships around the world than any other crypto project out there, and funding universities for blockchain technology around the world. 25 universities are funded by Ripple. 25 universities are funded by Ripple to teach blockchain education. So whilst they were being sued by the SEC, going into court back and forth, spending over $100 million in court, they missed bull markets and they still remain in the top 10. Crypto projects were going through the bull market and they couldn't still remain in the top 10. So they missed bull markets, remaining in the top 10, whilst spending $100 million plus in court, acquiring more licensings, acquiring more partnerships, more developments, acquiring companies, and also funding universities. And they did all of this, remaining in the top 10 while battling the SEC, missing bull runs. There's not a single crypto project on this planet who could have achieved that. And who hasn't achieved that? It's only XRP. So remember, once this case gets dropped, nothing's stopping this project. And now that Gary Gensler is going to be out of the picture, really nothing's stopping this project. Because Joe Biden's gone. Which means, remember what I said as well a long time ago. I said that essentially one by one, everybody's going to leave Gary Gensler by himself. And then I said, and then there was one. Anybody remember me saying that? I think JP will remember me saying as well. I think Shelly will probably remember me saying. A lot of people probably remember me saying. I said, and then there was one, Gary Gensler. Because Biden's also out of the picture as well. And then there was one. So literally, honestly, absolutely amazing on that project. Now, I could miss it. You think XRP will go above $2? Yes. Is that $2 US? Yes, US dollars. Would it be better to sell XRP and get USDC than buy more XRP when it's low miles? You could do. It's always a good plan. Will XRP go massively down after hitting 2 to 3 euros? Well, people have been holding XRP for 6 years, 7 years, or so how long? It would drop the price ridiculously down. But it would be an instant sharp down and then a few days of sideways. I will buy that drop. Let's go Woodhouse. Good move. Will XRP, yeah. If XRP hits $1, the sheep will sell 100%. Got to think long term. Exactly, Liam. Let's go facts. Do we think that this drop will happen after summer? Well, it is what is expected from them. From what Brad has said, my render Uphold is frozen, unavailable. Have you spoken to render? I mean, have you spoken to Uphold's customer service? Chozo, have you contacted their customer service, Uphold? DAG is good, but DAG is good. Bet US military. Yes, and DAG regarding the whole US military situation, they could do well for themselves as well. I wouldn't say it's a project that for me, it's a must-have in my portfolio, but I am aware of that whole military situation regarding DAG. I'm fully aware of it, but I personally wouldn't say it's a must-have in my portfolio. A couple of days later, you said up sideways, but based on what it will go every time after the case, days and weeks after. Let me see what it all said. Couple of days later, you said up sideways, Yep. But based on what will it go up? Every time after case and days and weeks after, or based on how many? Okay, it will go up in terms of weeks, is what I would say. If you days and weeks, it depends, days, weeks, and months, but in general, it will be up and sideways, up and sideways, up and sideways. If you hold XRP for long, is it because you believe in the project and you are not paying attention to the price action, and now the case is finished, you sell, is not making sense? Okay, let me see. Orphan, you said if you hold XRP, for that long, is because you believe in the project and you are not paying attention to the price action. And now that the case is finished, you sell, is not making sense. The reason why a lot of people will sell is because a lot of people don't care about long-term prospects. Believe it or not everybody cares about long-term prospects. Some people just want a quick buck. And there's quite a lot of people, when I say some people, there's quite a lot of people that just want a quick buck. There's a lot of people out there that still don't believe in Ripple's contracts. And there's a lot of people that are holding on to their XRP bags, not because they believe in Ripple, but because they're looking for a good price to jump out of. So that's why it makes sense. I released a PDF document on Telegram. And step 8, because everybody wanted to know on when's the best time to get out of certain projects and so on. So the PDF document that I put out, step 8 was psychological. Because it's not just about, catching the percentage or dollar cost averaging out of the market and so on. Step 8, I laid out 8 steps basically of how to get out of the market. And step 8 is psychological. Once you understand the psychological part of the market, it will make a lot more sense. Which is the people that have been holding for a very long time on XRP, only because they want a good price point to jump out on. There's a lot of people till this day that still don't believe in Ripple's contracts, even though they're on paper and on PDF documents. So step 8 is psychological. Yes, I did, but no reply yet. On regarding Uphold, that's a bit weird. Hopefully Brad is wrong. Brad is wrong. Miles, don't we have to have regulations before the rise? We can have some sort of rise because we have some sort of regulations. Now, the regarding regulations is scattered right now. So regulations around the world is scattered. And my iPhone was about to turn off. Good thing is, I looked at the battery side. So regulations around the world is scattered. So we have some regulations in the UAE, which means Ripple can get busy in the UAE. We have some regulations coming out of EU, which means Ripple can get busy in the EU. We have some regulations in Singapore, some regulations in Hong Kong, and so on. So in terms of regulations, we're getting there. And it's a bit scattered. So we have some regulations here, some not there, some here, some not there. So they can get some sort of movements happening, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Some sort of movements, not full potential movements, but some sort of movements. But a full green light on regulations is what needs to be achieved for full potential movement. But some sort of movements can happen still. Michelle Obama will end up running against Donald Trump. Sorry, I mean Michael. Miles, I missed the crypto that partnered with a car company. What was it? Ethereum. Ethereum was the crypto project that partnered with Toyota. So Toyota's blockchain department is integrating Ethereum into their autonomous vehicles. I just had an ad for tanning moose, Miles. Let's go. Miles, I just got a Wix advert. Use them, such a ripoffs. Hopefully, Brad mean the end of next summer. That would be better. Uphold will ensure seamless transitions from ERC20 render tokens to the Solana-based render tokens at 1-to-1 ratio. Following the upgrade, will no longer support the storage, transfer, or tradings. Okay, so they're doing the upgrade for you. Europia hits cash out 80%. Basically, this is the email I got from Uphold. So in the Uphold email, they essentially told you that Uphold will ensure a seamless transition from ERC20 render tokens to the Solana-based render token to a 1-to-1 ratio. Following the upgrade, will no longer support the storage and transfer or tradings. Okay. Email them back and say, will I have access to my tokens to withdraw them? Email them back and say, will I have access to be able to withdraw my tokens after the transition is completed of a 1-to-1 ratio? But why will go up days and weeks after the case, after the drop? Based on what, bro? Based on a hunch. If GTA engaged in crypto, imagine. Yeah. But why will it go up in days and weeks after the case, after the drop? Based on what? No. Well, here's the thing: the drop will be instant. The drop will be instant, and you won't be able to catch the drop price unless you're awake and available at that particular time. So, as I said, the people that have been holding for 6 years will sell or come drastically down, and then the bulls will try to push the price up, which they will up to a certain point. It will go sideways for a bit, and then the price will start climbing. The reason why it should go a few days sideways is because they want essentially the asset to linger a bit. So more people jump out. They want the asset to linger a bit, so people to jump out. It's only because I understand how manipulation works. Coming from the corporate sector, I fully understand how manipulation works. That's why I've been so accurate on calling things of how things will play out, not just in terms of the cryptocurrency market, but in terms of changes happening around the world. The reason why I understand how things work is because I understand how corruption works fully, coming from the corporate sector. I understand how manipulation works as well. That's why I've been correct on market movements and correct on things happening around the world. Me saying it and then CEOs and directors coming out afterwards. So because I've said a lot of things, and then you have Michael Saylor or Grayscale or essentially JP Morgan analysts and so on repeating what I've said about 6 months after I said it. That's only because I can read something and instantly have 3 outcomes in my head of how things could possibly play out. And I say the outcomes to everyone here, and about 6 months later, those outcomes come true. That's only because I fully understand the whole corruption side of how they manipulate things. That's why. No, I ask about why it will go up after sideways. Based on why it will go up after sideways? Because it has to at that moment in time. And it will go up good or not that much. It will go up not full potential is what I said. It won't go up full potential because we don't have full regulations. We have scattered regulations around the world. So because we have scattered regulations around the world, not full regulations, it will go up to certain levels. So we'll do well is what I would say. Now, the WorldCoin situation. But based on retail utility, no bank, little bit of retail utility and a little bit of banks working in. Glad to meet you. Let's go for XRP. The market maker manipulate Bitcoin every Friday sideways, trap longs, then shorts, pretty much. That is my question more. Yeah. It will go up 10, 20, 30 is what we're really looking at, and 14, so on. Is the price points we're realistically looking at until we have full regulations coming in. But you never know from the banking world, is what I'm trying to also say as well. Now, WorldCoin. WorldCoin taps into JP Morgan for world chain integration. So WorldCoin, which is a crypto project people sold their data for $40 vouchers, and JP Morgan, which is the same bank that has been involved in so much corruption around the world, 2 wonderful companies coming together. Sam Altman's WorldCoin has again made global headlines by partnering with JP Morgan. backed blockchain analytics and crypto compliance solutions firm Eplic. In the official statement released today, it was brought to global attention that the World Chain, a blockchain that jacks up the WorldCoin project, is now being integrated into Eplic's suite of screenings and investigation compliance solutions. This partnership further strengthens Eplic's foothold as a crypto asset risk manager, underscoring the firm's pioneering efforts in offering seamless services. Eplic strengthens footholds with WorldCoin integration. The partnership underlines the JP Morgan-backed firm's dedication to offering state-of-the-art compliance and analytics solutions across numerous blockchain networks. Further, the official announcement drew attention to WorldChain's position as a substantial evolutionary figure in the digital financial landscape. For context, the blockchain's distinguished feature remains its human-centric design. It offers a verified human user the leverage of personas in block space allocations over bots. Moreover, it offers a gas allowance for casual transactions, simplifying everyday usage for users. This unique approach further aligns with Eplic's vision to safeguard users and offer a seamless experience of digital financial landscapes. The WorldCoin project itself is a treatment of revolutionizing the DeFi space, given its stance on prioritizing verified human users. Executive shares insights on the partnership. The VP of Engineering at Eplic essentially stated, "I'm thrilled to partner with WorldCoin and integrate our innovative anti-money laundering platforms by combining Eplic's robust intelligence and cross-chain analysts with World ID secures humanizing verifications. We're taking a major step forward in preventing money laundering in the crypto space. Together, we're making cryptocurrencies safer and more trustworthy for everyone." Meanwhile, the head of blockchains at WorldCoin Foundation, Romoko, proclaimed that WorldChain is designed as a blockchain for humans. From day one, more than 10 million people across 160 countries will be able to explore the use of on-chain apps through compatible wallets. Blockchain analytics service providers such as the JP Morgan-backed Eplic will play a vital role in utilizing the WorldChain's full potential, as it offers developers a critical insights and tools for building for the network. Meanwhile, the native token of Sam Altman's crypto project traded alongly in the red zone today, and WorldCoin's price tested around $2.28, a remarkable 5.28% dip over the past days. These slumping actions comes in the tandems of the on-chain data indicating massive WorldCoin tokens unlocks looming over the crypto horizons. So JP Morgan, WorldCoin coming together. Later on, we'll probably see WorldCoin doing some IDs for JP Morgan as well. That sounds absolutely amazing. Who doesn't want to, scan their eyeball every time they want to use, anything to do with JP Morgan? Just sounds like an absolute wonderful future. But all in all, honestly, XRP is the solution to that, because it's going to happen either way. How do you get around it is either not going for WorldCoin, because you have to scan your eye to get WorldCoin tokens as a wallet, but going for XRP, being the backbone of CBDCs, because it's going to happen either way. So why not? Now, the next news to go on tonight's live show is regarding XRP lawyer John Deaton, who has came out and slammed Senator Elizabeth Warren for a bill to overturn. Now, I'll tell you what the bill is straight after we go through the comment section. Let's see where we were. We were at, let me say, after the heavy drop, 30 days after. What is your price prediction for XRP? 30 days after, we should be back to normal. Around 30 days after, we should be around the 5 to 6. We should be around that if it doesn't get manipulated. Everyone in the UK sold their medical data if they didn't opt out. So you're re-saying days after the case ends and the drop back down, XRP will be directly adopted and it goes to 10 to 20 to 30? No, not overnight and not in the 30 days. After 30 days. There. Sounds to me like Bill Gates is behind the coin. Any other CBDC loopholes other than crypto? No. Crypto is your only loophole. When it comes to CBDCs, crypto is your only loophole. Absolutely only loophole. What's up with these ads popping up? That's different. It's because I became a YouTube partner and I'm monetized now. That's what's happened. So YouTube sent me an email and said, congratulations, you have now become a YouTube partner where you can start earning from YouTube by creating videos or going live. And they monetized my channel. They said, do you want to monetize, yes or no? And I said, yes, but we're letting it run for the time being. And I said, the money that we earn, we can use it for CMF. As far as I'm aware, it's 10-second ads, and you could probably skip them as well, which is okay, as long as they're not 1-minute ads. Now, XRP lawyer John Deaton, he slammed Senator Elizabeth Warren bill to overturn a ruling. XRP lawyer John Deaton slams Democratic senators seeking to introduce a legislation to overturn a Supreme Court ruling, a Chauvin essentially deference that limited U.S. federal regulators such as SEC powers. Senator Elizabeth Warren is the leading Democrat to introduce a bill to restore Gary Gensler. Essentially, in a very simple way, there is a certain law that's going to be in place where Gary Gensler and the SEC are going to lose their power. And John Deaton has came out and he's obviously pro-crypto. He's trying to make Gary Gensler and the SEC lose their power. Senator Elizabeth Warren has came out and decided to restore the power back to the SEC and Gary Gensler, and there's a bit of a debate going on between these two people. John Deaton hits back at Senator Elizabeth Warren. John Deaton, the pro-XRP lawyer and Massachusetts Senate candidate, lambasted the Senator Elizabeth Warren for continuing her anti-crypto stance. He agrees to debate with Elizabeth Warren on the Chauvin ruling and other topics, including relations with SEC Chairman Gary Gensler and promoting corruption in the United States politics. She conspired with Gary Gensler, an unelected bureaucrat, aka political hack, to fabricate testimonies in order for her to later rely on these testimonies as so-called experts in the field. She gave him not only the questions she intended to ask, but gave Gary Gensler the answers she expected him to provide, added John Deaton. What he's referring to is when essentially Gary Gensler was invited over to be asked some questions by congressmen. It turns out that Elizabeth Warren gave Gary Gensler a list of questions she was going to be asking him in front of the cameras, and gave him the answers also, is what he's referring to. The move comes as Senator Warren is set to introduce a bill and seek Democrat support to restore the powers of the federal agencies under Chauvin deference. It provided agencies the freedom to interpret the law when they issue regulations on the status that ambiguously written, which basically means essentially that Gary Gensler could be making up his own rules and regulations if he gets this sort of power, which I don't think he will. I'll be fairly honest, mainly because a lot of politicians are very pro-crypto now, and also mainly because Ripple, Coinbase, Kraken, and all these major companies came together, created a crypto fund of $170 million, and any politician that becomes pro-crypto can have access to this fund. So because of that, you're seeing a lot of politicians all of a sudden become pro-crypto because they're going to have access to $170 million. And obviously, the easiest way to get a politician on your side is not by reasoning with a politician, because reasoning with a politician never works. The only thing that works for politicians is donations. As I've said, previously, politicians, they remind me of Oliver Twist. When Oliver Twist goes with his bowl of food to the guy who's serving people, and he goes, "Please, sir, can I have some more?" Is basically what politicians are. It's the only way to get them to be on your side. Money, donations, reasoning with a politician with basic, common sense and logic really doesn't work. But you can pay them off is what always works. It's basically what's happening here. But that's why I see it as Elizabeth Warren might not get the votes she needs to give SEC the power back. It's not possible, because the politicians are all paid off by pro-crypto campaigners. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is regarding the UAE. The UAE Central Bank approves a framework for stablecoin regulations, which is massive news. So the UAE, the United Arab Emirates Centralized Bank, has came out and essentially approved a framework for stablecoin regulations, which is massive news, to be fairly honest. The the UAE is definitely moving forward and is definitely aiming to become a financial hub in the blockchain sector, which I believe they will reach that target. They definitely will reach that target the way they're moving right now for a while. But before we go through that news, let's go to the comment section first. Did you so? But will adoption 100% sure start days after case ends, or will it start a month later? It wouldn't be 100% adoption, no, in any sort of way. For 100% adoption to happen, there needs to be full-on regulations worldwide basis. But adoption can happen. Adoption can start. 100% potential is a different scenario. Adoption process can start. 100% essentially adoption goes back to what I said a while ago, which is the 3 green lights. First green light essentially is the Ripple case. Second green light is the regulations, and third green light is the adoption part. So it goes back to what I said, if we want full adoption. This is why I said the regulations are scattered. We have some regulations in the UK, some regulations in the EU, some regulations in, essentially Hong Kong, some regulations in Singapore, some regulations in the UAE, and so on. So because the regulations are scattered, we can have some sort of adoption, not full potential adoption. Did you sell your soul? I haven't sold my soul, no. But I'm thinking about doing sponsors on this live show, mainly because I want to raise money for CMF events. So I want to do, because I have big plans, as I said previously, for the CMF. I have huge plans for the CMF. And I think the easiest way to raise money would be to do sponsors for the CMF, to raise money for the CMF, to be able to do the plans that I have in progress. But I'll let the CMF moderators know first, and then we'll do a conversation with CMF as well. But we'll leave that topic to a few days later. Now, should I sell at €2 after the case before the drop, or is that risky? You could jump out and jump back in. It is an option, but I'm not going to do that. But it is an option if you want to jump out and jump back in. It's 2 options. Either 1, knowing it's going to go down and up and just buying on the down, or 2, essentially selling at the top and then buying back at the bottom, and so on. So 2 options. Do you think that some businesses will offer crypto as pay for employees? Yes, but CBDCs, not cryptocurrencies. Month after case end, around, some might, but the majority will be CBDCs. Month after the case end, around €5 to €6, and 2 months after the case, price prediction. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Months after the case, around €5 to €6, and then 2 months after the case ends, price prediction. 2 months after the case ends, price prediction, we should be a little bit higher towards the 10 side. Unless there's some sort of manipulation sections going on there, but we get a better picture as we move along. Let's be honest. Gary Gensler is professor, and he's chosen to play the role not because he wants. Yeah, Miles, you understand my question wrong. I asked if adoption will start 100% after the case, not the 100% potential will be. Another great show tonight. Let's go, Scott. So the UAE Central Bank approves a framework for stablecoin regulations. The UAE Central Bank has introduced a new regulation on stablecoins set to take effect in June 2025, is what they're stating. The regulation restricts the use of major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum for transactional purposes. Did you hear that? Let me read that one more time. The United Arab Central Banks has introduced a new regulation on stablecoins set to take effect in June 2025. The date will be much more sooner. The regulation restricts the use of major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum for transactional purposes, allowing only dirham-backed stablecoins for payments within the Emirates. The UAE is going to restrict Bitcoin and Ethereum for transactional purposes. And they said they're going to be only allowing dirham-backed stablecoins, which is basically their own CBDCs or stablecoins, payments within the Emirates. The aim is to provide clarity and reduce legal uncertainties for businesses, encouraging secure interactions between fintech companies and virtual asset service providers. Financial free zones are exempt from this rule, allowing some flexibility for international business operations. The regulation will recognize specific use cases for foreign payment tokens, including non-fungible tokens, NFTs, to promote collaboration between fintech firms and VAS. A phased approach will allow time for the development of dirham-backed stablecoins, ensuring a smooth transition for stakeholders. Bitcoin and Ethereum will be essentially regulated to invest and trading purposes, remaining integral to corporate treasuries and investment portfolios. However, they cannot be used for transactional purposes through their centralized banks. The global stablecoin market is expanding rapidly, with stablecoin purchases reaching $40 billion in March 2024. The new UAE regulation emphasizes the need for robust oversight, reflecting lessons learned from past market collapses. Dirham-backed stablecoins can be private entities backed by reserves or functions as central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, if issued by the UAE Central Bank. So the UAE, United Arab Emirates, central bank regulation states they cannot use Bitcoin and Ethereum for transactional purposes, but they can use CBDCs. Who's doing CBDCs, I guess? It's a mystery of who is the CBDC project. So they can't use Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they can use CBDCs in the UAE from their centralized banks, issued by the UAE centralized banks. Banks are not directly permitted to issue the payment tokens, but can do so through subsidiaries. The bank, the central bank of the UAE, cannot essentially issue these CBDC, but they can issue it through their subsidiaries or affiliates. I wonder who the Central Bank of United Arab Emirates affiliate is. So the Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates can't release a CBDC, but they can release it through their subsidiaries and affiliates. I wonder who their affiliates is. Tokens, but can do it through their subsidiaries and affiliates, provided they meet the licensing and regulatory requirements. So, I wanted to end the live show with a major news, which is that United Arab Emirates Central Bank cannot use Bitcoin or Ethereum for transactional purposes. They said you can use Bitcoin and Ethereum inside the country. It's regulated. You can use Bitcoin and Ethereum inside of United Arab Emirates because it's regulated. But from central bank purposes, which is the actual money, you cannot use Bitcoin or Ethereum for transactional purposes through the centralized bank of essentially United Arab Emirates. You can only use stablecoins or CBDCs, and it cannot be directly coming from the bank either. It has to come from affiliates or affiliates or subsidiaries. And guess who the affiliates and subsidiary of the Central Bank of United Arab Emirates is? And is this going to be only for the United Arab Emirates? No. Every other essentially Middle Eastern country, has given a green light to XRP. The first country to do it in the Middle East was under Sharia law, was essentially XRP. The first country to do was Bahrain. The centralized bank of Bahrain, a very long time ago, the Central Bank of Bahrain, a very long time ago, the Central Bank of Bahrain came out and did a study test and gave a green light to XRP and said XRP is a halal project, a halal transactional coin under Sharia law. And I said, after reading that document to everybody, because Bahrain under Sharia law give it a green light, every other Middle Eastern country will give XRP a green light for their centralized banks. And about 3 weeks later, Dubai comes out. Dubai has given Ripple a license to operate. I wonder. And Kuwait came out, and so on and so on and so on. They all came out back to back and given Ripple a license to operate and so on as a green light. And as I've said previously, There are 24,000 crypto projects out there. There are 24,000 crypto projects out there, and there's so much competition going on in the gaming category, in the Web3 category, the data category, the AI category. But there is one project doing CBDCs. One project has a CBDC platform. This project's CBDC platform is being used in a particular country. It's not rocket science, absolutely not rocket science in any sort of way. There's one project doing CBDCs. One project has essentially a CBDC platform. This particular project CBDC platform is being used in a particular country. This also platform is with the Bank of International Settlements, International Monetary Fund, and it's Ripple XRP. 24,000 crypto projects, only one is doing CBDCs, and people are still confused. And with Dubai coming out with this announcement, I mean, sorry, not Dubai, United Arab Emirates coming out with this announcement, Bitcoin and Ethereum can't be used for transactional purposes. Only their CBDC that's coming out from their subsidiaries and affiliates. Which is massive news, honestly. The biggest bullish news you could have ever received. Now, so far, the biggest bullish news. Let's see where we were. Another great show. Let's go. Bill, you're stressing me out. Lol. He doesn't really know just based on his corporate experience in this. Good for you. Might as well make some money like others, especially when you deal in facts. Let's go. Hi, Shelly. I just bullish. Shelly, will you sell at this case before the sense? People are still thinking politicians have their community interest at heart. They sell us at all. The first sign of money. Facts. Below you are stressing me out just by looking at your questions. Miles, I have some friends in my year who want to start a large business in the future. They are not in crypto at all. Will they still have the chance in a couple of years to escape CBDCs? No. If they don't get into blockchain right now, they're going to be in CBDCs later on. It doesn't matter what business you run. If it's not blockchain related, you're pretty much done for. Let's go XRP. Let's go bull XRP. At which price will you sell that 20%? Is because of the religion. What religion? Selling after a pump and buying back in after the drop might be risky, as the retail may be blocked out of some point. The retail can't be blocked from buying XRP or any other crypto project. You just buy from the DeFi space, because DeFi, you can't get blocked from DeFi, but you can get blocked from exchanges, centralized exchanges. So that should be an issue. RL USD will be huge. Facts. Flea XRP, absolute facts. Good night all. Thank you for all the news, Miles. Let's go, JP. At what price that you sell on 2000? Let's see. I don't think 13 cents will hit back when it drops. Outstanding. Love me some Dubai. Great life tonight, bro. Take care, Miles and CMF. Ray, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. No doubt. Sound. Let's go. Happy Pisces. And we have reached the endings of tonight's live show as well. And as I said, I wanted to end the live show with an absolute, massive news. This is why I said the Ripple news is always at the end, leaving the best news for the end. But on tonight's live show, we talked about the UAE and essentially Ripple, we talked about the XRP lawyer John Deaton slamming Elizabeth Warren. We talked about JP Morgan and WorldCoin coming together. We talked about Binance Labs and Telegram and Ton. We talked about Hong Kong, essentially their inverse Bitcoin ETF. We talked about Mark Cuban, Kamala Harris. We talked about Toyota and Ethereum coming together. We also talked about Fidelity, giving essentially perspectives on the Ethereum situation, Ethereum's future. We also talked about US lawmakers and sending a letter to OpenAI requesting full access to OpenAI. Democrats want full access to OpenAI ChatGPT. We also talked about tonight's live show regarding Hamilton Lane launching a tokenized credit fund on Solana's blockchain. We talked about Sui Foundation and Amazon. We talked about Tom Hemmer, essentially Congressman Tom Hemmer, slamming the SEC chairman Gary Gensler and warning people against Kamala Harris. We also talked about tonight's live show regarding Mt. Gox reaching out to Kraken Exchange users and Bitstamp refunding people still. So that's all the news that we covered on tonight's live show. If you enjoyed this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and see you tomorrow. If you enjoyed this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. It's called the CMF Live Show. I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, regulations, politics, and updating you on this digital future we're headed towards. Now, before we go, let's go inside the comment section first quickly. So if you start a business which involves blockchain and crypto, they will be okay. Yeah, on that basis, they will be okay, yes. Okay, now, religion in the EU. Religion in the EU. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Orphan, see you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. Thanks, Miles. Hope you get some rest tonight. Thanks for all you do for the CMF. Much appreciated. Let's go, Shelly. Thanks so much for the kind words. And see you tomorrow, sometimes usual. Thanks, my daily fix, Miles. See you tomorrow. Good night. Flea XLP. See you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Thanks, Miles. See you back tomorrow, bro. Below. See you tomorrow, brother. Same time as usual. I will see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Also, if you enjoyed this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune in every single night. We also have a Telegram group as well. Everybody that you see inside the comment section is inside the Telegram group as well. Everybody's absolutely amazing. All the people around the world are inside our Telegram group. The link is on my X. If you're watching this on my X profile, if you're watching this live on YouTube, the link is also on my YouTube profile as well. Join the Telegram group. Good night, Miles and family. Great live. Thanks for the nice info. Nice one. Let's go, Ian. Thanks, Miles. Have a great evening, everyone. Stormy, let's go. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Ian, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Woodhouse, that's good to hear that you still have a chance. They deserve it. Let's go. Woodhouse, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Stormy, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Thanks, Miles, for the update, brother. No problem. Sam, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Free and Forever, good night, Miles and CMF. Thanks for all the news. No problem. See you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Free and Forever. I'm thinking I should offer crypto payments as a sole trader, be ahead of the wave. Why not, Rudy? That's a perfect move. Perfect move, honestly. Good night and day to all CMF. Shelly, let's go. See you tomorrow. Woodhouse, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, see you tomorrow, same time as usual.